Captain stood on the bridge of the Earth Alliance vessel Sunrise Dawn, watching the stars drift past through the main window. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but he barely noticed. The communication console beeped, and his officer turned to him with wide eyes. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the Apex fleet." Set down his cup. Everyone in the galaxy knew about They were legendary warriors, feared across 7-star systems. No one expected them to contact a human ship. "Put it through," said. The screen flickered to life. A massive alien face appeared, covered in dark blue scales that looked harder than steel. Red eyes studied with an intensity that made lesser captains nervous. This was commander or leader of the military forces. "Captain of Earth," the alien's voice rumbled like thunder. "We wish to speak with your people. The hive swarms advance through the outer sectors. We propose an alliance." Kept his expression calm, though inside he felt surprised. The never asked for help. They conquered. They dominated. They never allied with anyone, especially not with humans who had only been in space for 40 years. "We would be honored to discuss this," Commander replied. "Where shall we meet?" "The neutral station Haven's Gate. 3 days. Come alone, but bring your best warriors." Or's eyes gleamed. "We wish to see what humans are made of." The transmission ended, whistled low. "They want to meet us. Should we trust them?" Thought for a moment. "We don't have much choice. The hive swarms are a threat to everyone. Send word to Earth Command and set course for Haven's Gate." 3 days later, the Sunrise Dawn docked at the massive space station. Haven's Gate floated at the border between 3 territories, a place where different species could meet without fear. Its silver walls stretched for kilometers, and ships of every design clustered around it like metal insects. Took Lieutenant Minu and 2 security officers with him. They walked through the station's clean corridors until they reached Conference Room 7. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside, 5 warriors waited. They were enormous, each one standing over 8 feet tall. Their bodies were covered in scales that shifted colors from blue to purple in the light. They wore armor that looked like it had survived 1,000 battles. Scars marked their arms and faces. Their claws were retracted, but could see the tips gleaming like knives. Commander Or stood at the head of the table. He gestured to the chairs. "Sit, humans. Let us talk of war and survival." Sat across from him. Minu stood behind, hand resting on his weapon but not threatening. The warriors did the same. "The hive swarms consume everything," Or began. "Planets, ships, people. They turn all organic matter into more soldiers. We have fought them for 10 cycles. They do not stop. They do not fear. They do not die easily." "We've encountered their scout ships," said. "Lost 2 colonies last year." Or nodded. "Then you understand. Alone, each species falls eventually. Together, we might stand." One of the other, a female warrior named, leaned forward. "But first, we must know if humans are worthy. They do not ally with the weak." Felt Minu tense behind him, but he remained calm. "What do you wish to know?" "Tell us of your battles," said. "What is the most dangerous creature you have hunted?" They all focused on. This was clearly a test. He thought carefully about his answer. "On Earth, we have many dangerous animals. There are great sharks in the oceans, bears in the forests, snakes with deadly poison. Humans learned to survive among all of them." Or made a sound like a laugh. "Primitive beasts. We have hunted across the stars. Let me tell you of true danger." For the next hour, they shared their stories. They spoke of the Crimson Ravagers on Planet 9, pack hunters with acid for blood and electromagnetic vision. They described the Void Stalkers that lived in deep space, creatures that could survive without air and hunted ships. They told of the Death World Championships, where warriors proved themselves against the universe's deadliest predators. Each story was more impressive than the last. They had faced creatures that would give nightmares to most species. They had scars to prove every tale. Their eyes shone with pride. We have fought across 300 worlds, or declared. We fear no beast in this universe. That is why we are the apex hunters. That is why we have never been defeated by any creature. Listened respectfully. They were indeed impressive. Their military records showed victories against impossible odds. They had earned their reputation. Your people are brave, said. An alliance with them would strengthen us both against the hive. Indeed, or stood, and the other rose with him. We will send the formal treaty to your Earth command. In 1 week we will begin joint operations. Some of my warriors will station on your ship to learn your tactics. You will learn ours. They sealed the agreement with the traditional gesture, a claw pressed over the heart, returned it with a human handshake, which seemed to amuse the aliens. As the meeting ended, his personal communicator buzzed. He glanced at it and saw a message from his Aunt Sarah. She needed a favor. Her message was simple but urgent. I have to go off-world for 2 weeks. Medical conference on Mars. Can you watch for me, please? I'll owe you forever. Sighed quietly. His aunt was a doctor, one of the best, and she rarely asked for anything. Was her cat, a small orange tabby that Sora loved more than anything. How hard could it be to watch a cat on a military vessel for 2 weeks? He typed back a quick reply. Okay, Aunt Sora. Bring her to Earth Station Gamma when we dock for resupply. Minu noticed his distracted expression. Everything okay, Captain? Just family matters, said. Nothing important. He had no idea how wrong he was. In 3 days, when Aunt Sara arrived with a pet carrier containing one small, innocent-looking orange cat, everything would change. The fearless warriors who feared no beast in the universe were about to meet something they had never encountered before. They were about to meet. And the galaxy would never forget what happened next. The Sunrise Dawn docked at Earth Station Gamma exactly on schedule. The massive station orbited Earth like a steel moon, always busy with ships coming and going. Watched through the window as the docking clamps locked into place with heavy thuds that echoed through the hull. Docking complete, Captain, announced. We have 48 hours for resupply and crew rotation. Nodded. Good. The delegation will be arriving in 6 hours. Make sure their quarters are ready. I need to meet my aunt first. Minu grinned from his station. Still, can't believe you agreed to cat-sit on a military vessel. Family is family, said, though he wondered if he had made a mistake. But Aunt Sara had raised him after his parents died. He owed her everything. He found her waiting at Docking Bay 3. Sara was a small woman in her 50s, with gray streaks in her black hair and the kind smile that had comforted through his entire childhood. She carried a standard pet transport carrier. She hugged him tightly. Thank you so much for this. The medical conference is important and I couldn't find anyone else. It's fine, Aunt Sora. How hard can watching a cat be? Sora laughed. Oh, it's very easy. She's sweet and friendly. Just make sure she has food, water, and a clean litter box, and don't let her get bored. Bored? Looked at the carrier. He could see orange fur inside and 2 large green eyes staring back at him. Cats need stimulation. Play with her sometimes. She likes chasing things. Sora handed him the carrier and a bag full of supplies. There's her food, toys, and a laser pointer. She loves the laser pointer. A laser pointer. Yes, you just point the red dot and she chases it. It's adorable. Sora checked her watch. I have to run. My shuttle leaves in 20 minutes. Take care of my baby. She was gone before could ask more questions. He looked down at the carrier. The green eyes blinked at him slowly. Well, he said, welcome to the Sunrise Dawn. The cat made a small chirping sound. Carried the carrier back to his quarters. The ship was busy with crew members preparing for the arrival. Everyone wanted to see the legendary warriors up close. No one paid attention to the captain carrying a pet carrier. In his quarters, set the carrier down and opened the door. A small orange tabby cat stepped out carefully. She was fluffy, with white paws and a white patch on her chest. Her tail stood straight up as she explored the room, sniffing everything. "Not very impressive," muttered. She was smaller than his boot. Jumped onto his desk, then onto his shelf, then onto the top of his bookcase with impossible ease. She sat there, looking down at him like a tiny queen surveying her kingdom. Shrugged and went back to work. How much trouble could one small cat be? 6 hours later, the delegation arrived. Commander brought 4 of his best warriors. They would stay on the Sunrise Dawn for 2 weeks, learning human tactics and teaching their own methods. It was the first step in the alliance. They were just as impressive as before. Their scaled armor gleamed under the ship's lights. Their weapons looked deadly even when powered down. The crew members who passed them in the corridors stepped aside quickly, staring with a mixture of fear and awe. Engineering officer was assigned to give them a tour of the ship. She was young but brilliant, one of the best engineers in the fleet. She wasn't afraid of the giant aliens. "This is our main corridor," she explained, walking backward so she could face them. "It connects all the primary sections. Engineering is that way, medical is here, and crew quarters are on decks 3 through 5. Or listened carefully, his red eyes taking in every detail. The others scanned everything with their advanced visors, recording data. They walked past Captain's quarters. The door was slightly open because had gone to get coffee and forgotten to close it completely, and curious about the new sounds in the corridor, had pushed it open wider. The small orange cat sat in the middle of the hallway, grooming her paw. Saw her first. "Oh, the captain is watching her for his aunt." The stopped. All 4 warriors stared at the small creature. "What manner of being is this?" or asked slowly. "It's a cat," said cheerfully. "A domestic animal from Earth. We keep them as companions." One of the warriors, a male named, stepped closer. His visor scanned and data scrolled across his vision. He froze. Commander said quietly, "You should see this." Or activated his own scanner. The readings appeared in his vision, and his eyes widened slightly. Retractable claws, rated for organic penetration, 10 points each paw. Muscle density, exceptional for size. Leg strength, capable of vertical jump 6 times body length. Sensory capabilities, hearing range far beyond human normal, night vision superior to military-grade optics, detection of movement at 0.068-second response time. Teeth, 30 sharp points designed for gripping and tearing flesh. "This is a companion animal," or his voice was uncertain. "Yeah," said kneeling down, "is super sweet, wanna pet her." Looked up at her pupils dilated, turning her eyes mostly black. She yawned, showing all 30 of her needle-sharp teeth and her pink tongue. The warriors all took a step backward. "Those are the teeth of a predator," whispered. "A carnivore." "Well, yes," said. "Cats are obligate carnivores, they only eat meat, but eats cat food, she's very civilized." Stood and stretched, her back arching high. Her claws extended, digging into the floor panels with small clicking sounds. Then she retracted them and sat back down, her tail curling around her paws. "It has retractable claws," another said, "like the shadow hunters of Prime." "Those creatures killed 300 of our warriors," added. Laughed. "Won't kill anyone, she's a pet. Earth has millions of cats. They live in our homes, sleep in our beds, sit on our keyboards when we're trying to work." Or crouched down, bringing his massive scaled face closer to level. The cat watched him with interest, her ears forward. She sniffed toward him. Then she hissed. It was a small sound, but it made all 4 warriors reach for their weapons, or stood up quickly. "It challenges me," he said. "No, she's just saying hello," explained. "Cats hiss when they're surprised or uncertain. Give her a minute." But they kept their distance. They watched with the same intensity they might watch an enemy soldier. Having decided the giant aliens were not immediately interesting, went back to grooming herself. Her pink tongue licked her paw, and she wiped it over her ear with practiced precision. Humans, or said slowly, share living space with these creatures. Of course, said, cats have lived with humans for thousands of years. They're family members. And they do not attack you. Sometimes they scratch if you annoy them, but mostly they're just cute and fuzzy. Reached down and scratched behind's ear. The cat leaned into the touch and began to purr, a loud rumbling sound that filled the corridor. They stared at the small orange creature making a sound like a tiny engine. Their scanners detected the vibration frequency, designed to be soothing to both the cat and nearby beings. Fascinating, or said, but he did not sound fascinated. He sounded disturbed. Picked up, cradling the cat in her arms, settled comfortably, still purring. Want to hold her? No, all four said at once. Your loss. She's very soft. Carried back into his quarters and closed the door properly this time. They stood in the corridor for a long moment. Commander, said quietly, the humans keep apex predators as companions. I noticed, or replied. What does that say about humans? Or was silent for several seconds. It says we may have underestimated them. Come, we have much to discuss. They continued their tour, but all four warriors kept glancing back at the closed door, wondering about the small orange creature behind it. They had faced enemies across 300 worlds. They had hunted the deadliest predators in the known galaxy. They had never retreated from any battle, but after 3 days aboard the Sunrise Dawn, they were writing reports about a cat. Commander or sat in his assigned quarters, reading the observation logs his warriors had compiled. The document was already 15 pages long. Had written most of it. The warrior had become obsessed with tracking the small orange creature's movements throughout the ship. His reports were detailed and increasingly concerned. Day 1, hour 300. The creature moves through corridors with complete silence. Human crew members do not hear its approach until it appears directly in their path. When questioned, the humans say this is normal cat behavior. They seem unconcerned that a predator stalks their halls undetected. Day 1, hour 7:30. Observed the creature in what humans call hunting mode. It crouched low in the recreation room, eyes fixed on something invisible to our scanners. Tail twitched rhythmically. After several minutes of absolute stillness, it pounced at a dust particle floating in a beam of light. The precision and speed were remarkable. The creature can track and attack targets smaller than 1 millimeter. Day 1, hour 14:00. Discovered the creature can flatten its body to squeeze through ventilation grates. Followed it through 3 sections of the ship using great access points unknown to the human crew. The creature has mapped the entire vessel using routes invisible to standard security. It can access any room at any time. No area is secure from it. Or read this last line twice. No area is secure from it. These were the words they used to describe hive infiltrators, not small domestic animals. The report continued. Day 1, hour 19:00. The creature watched me from a high shelf for 47 minutes without moving. Its eyes never blinked. When I left the room, I felt the sensation of being hunted. This is illogical. The creature weighs approximately 4 kilograms. I weigh 120 kilograms, yet my instincts recognize it as a predator. Day 2, hour 8:00. Engineering officer made a critical error. He activated a small laser device for a maintenance check. The creature saw the red dot on the floor. What followed was chaos. Or had seen the security footage himself. He had watched it 3 times, and each viewing was more disturbing than the last. The moment saw the laser dot, her pupils expanded to fill her entire eyes. Her body lowered. Her tail began lashing back and forth like a warning signal. Then she moved. The cat went from sitting position to full sprint in less than 1/10 of a second. She raced across the floor, up the wall, across the ceiling using an overhead pipe, back down the other wall, and across a table, scattering data pads everywhere. She moved so fast that the security camera had trouble tracking her. Moved the laser pointer, trying to stop whatever he had started. Followed it with the precision of a guided missile. She leaped over barriers, squeezed under equipment, and executed jumps that her small size. 3 warriors had been in the room. All 3 had drawn their weapons before realizing the creature was not actually attacking anyone. It was playing. This is what humans call playtime, had explained to the shocked warriors. It's cute, right? She's practicing her hunting skills. They did not find it cute. They found it terrifying. The footage showed in what humans apparently called zoomies, a state where the cat raced around at maximum speed for no clear reason except excess energy. She ran up and down corridors, parkoured off walls, and slid around corners with her claws extended for grip. Or had seen berserker warriors go into battle rage. This looked similar. The report from Day 2 continued with more observations. Day 2, hour 15:00. The creature sleeps 18 hours per day but can go from deep sleep to full combat readiness in less than 1 second. Tested this by walking past while it slept. Its eyes opened immediately, tracking my movement until I left its territory. It returned to sleep within seconds. This on-off capability is tactically superior to most military species. Day 2, hour 21:00. Heard a strange rumbling sound from the captain's quarters. Investigated, fearing a mechanical failure. Discovered the sound was coming from the creature. Human crew member explained this is called purring. The creature generates this vibration when content. However, research indicates cats also purr when injured or dying, possibly to self-soothe or heal faster. The strategic implications are unclear but disturbing. Day 3, hour 6:00. The creature presented me with a gift. Or remembered that moment clearly. He had been walking to the mess hall when appeared in front of him, carrying something in her mouth. She dropped it at his feet and sat back, looking proud. It was a dead rat. Had rushed over, scooping up the rat with a cleaning cloth. "I'm so sorry, Commander. She's a hunter. She catches mice and rats sometimes and brings them to people she likes. It's a compliment." Or had stared at the small creature. Where did she find a rat on a military vessel? Oh, ships always have a few. They sneak aboard during cargo loading. We use traps and pest control, but is better than any trap. The engineering crew had searched the cargo bay. They found evidence of a small rat colony that had been living in the ventilation system for weeks, maybe months. Standard sensors had not detected them, had hunted them down in a single night. The last entry in its report was the most disturbing. Day 3, hour 14:00, showed commander or video footage from Earth's information network. Humans have documented their cats extensively. The evidence is overwhelming and terrifying. Cats have survived falls from heights that would kill most species. Their bodies can twist in midair to land safely. They can fit through any space their heads can fit through because they have free-floating collar bones. They have hunting success rates higher than lions, their larger genetic relatives. Humans breed cats in hundreds of varieties. Some are hairless. Some are massive, weighing 20 kilograms. Some have extra toes. Humans select for traits they find appealing and create new types of cats constantly. But most terrifying, the videos show cats dominating other predators. Cats chase bears from territories. Cats stare down alligators. Cats intimidate dogs 5 times their size. They do this through sheer confidence and willingness to fight anything that challenges them. Humans see this behavior and call it cute. Or closed the report and looked across the table at his 4 warriors. They had gathered in his quarters for a private meeting. "Your assessment," he asked. Spoke first. Humans have domesticated apex predators and integrated them into their daily lives. They feed them, house them, allow them unrestricted access to their living spaces. They treat this as normal. The creature killed a hive-level threat in one night without weapons or armor, another warrior added. Just claws and teeth and hunting instinct. And the humans bred them, a third warrior said. They made cats dependent on human food and shelter, but cats retained all their predatory capabilities. This is deliberate. Humans wanted companions that could kill but chose not to. Or nodded slowly. We said we fear no beast. We have hunted across the stars, but we have never shared our homes with hunters. We have never slept in the same rooms as predators. Because we are not insane, said. Or perhaps, or corrected, because we are not as brave as we believed. Silence filled the room. Humans are either the most fearless species in the galaxy, or continued, or they have such confidence in their own dominance that they do not fear other predators. Either option means we have severely underestimated them. What do we do? Asked. We complete our alliance, or said, and we request detailed briefings on all of Earth's domesticated species. If this is what they consider a companion animal, we must know what else lives among them. His communicator beeped. It was a message from Lieutenant Minu. Commander, thought you might enjoy these videos. They're compilations of funny cat moments. Humans find them entertaining. Or opened the file. The first video showed a cat knocking objects off a table one by one while staring directly at a human. The second showed a cat attacking a human's feet under a blanket. The third showed a cat riding a robotic vacuum cleaner around a room. The warriors watched in silence. They mock the predators, whispered. They laugh at them. No, or said quietly. They coexist with them. They have reached an understanding. That requires a level of confidence we may never achieve. In the corridor outside, sat grooming herself, completely unaware that she had shaken the foundation of the galaxy's most fearless warrior's worldview. She had more important things to do, like napping and hunting and waiting for dinner time. The alarm cut through the quiet of the night shift like a knife. Red lights flashed throughout the sunrise dawn, and the automated warning system spoke in its calm, mechanical voice. Hull breach detected. Sector 7. All personnel to battle stations. Captain was already running before he finished pulling on his jacket. He slapped his communicator. Report. His voice came through, tight with stress. Captain, we have a Hive scout on board. It came through the cargo bay wall. The breach is sealed, but the scout is inside. His blood went cold. Hive scouts were nightmares made real. They were biomechanical creatures designed by the Hive swarms for one purpose: infiltration and sabotage. They were fast, deadly, and incredibly hard to kill. Location: demanded, racing toward the bridge. It's moving through the lower decks toward engineering. If it reaches the reactor. I know, cut him off. If the scout damaged the reactor, they would all die. Get security teams to engineering now. Seal all access corridors and wake up the... Already done, Captain. Commander Orr and his warriors are gearing up. Reached the bridge and pulled up the security feeds. He saw the Hive scout on camera 12 and his stomach tightened. The creature was the size of a large dog but built like a nightmare. It had 6 legs that ended in razor-sharp points, a segmented body covered in dark metallic plates, and a head that was all sensors and mandibles. Its tail curved up like a scorpion's, tipped with a spike that dripped acid. The scout moved through the corridors with terrible purpose, its legs clicking on the metal floor. It avoided the main hallways, using maintenance passages and ventilation shafts. It was heading straight for engineering. Security teams rushed into position, but knew they would struggle. Hive scouts were designed to fight. Their armor could withstand most small arms fire. Their speed made them hard to hit, and they fought with the kind of intelligence that made them truly dangerous. On the monitor, he watched the scout pause at an intersection. Its sensors swept the area, checking for threats. Then it scuttled forward, moving with the confidence of a creature that feared nothing. Or appeared on the bridge with his 4 warriors. They were fully armored, weapons charged and ready. The commander looked at the monitors and nodded grimly. "A worthy opponent," he said. "We will handle this, Captain. My warriors have hunted Hive scouts before." "Appreciated, Commander," said, "but we evacuate the lower sections first. I won't risk civilian crew members." "Agreed. Where is it now?" Pointed to a screen. "Deck 4, Section C. It's bypassing our security teams using the ceiling access panels. Smart bastard." The moved out, weapons ready, watched them go and felt slightly relieved. If anyone could stop a Hive scout, it was them. But then turned pale. "Captain," the scout changed direction. "It's not going to engineering anymore." "Where is it going?" Deck 3 looked up with wide eyes. "It's heading toward your quarters." His mind raced. His quarters, where was sleeping. "Pull up the feed from my room," he ordered. The screen changed to show his quarters. The lights were dim, set to night mode. On his bed, curled up in a small orange ball, slept peacefully. Her sides rose and fell with slow breaths. She looked tiny and helpless. "We need to evacuate that section," said, already moving toward the door. "I'll get out myself." "Captain, you won't make it in time," said. "The scout is 2 corridors away." Stopped was right. He was 5 minutes away at a full run. The scout was 30 seconds away. On the monitor, the Hive scout appeared at the entrance to his quarters. The door was closed, but that would not stop it. The creature's mandibles opened, revealing cutting tools designed to slice through metal. It began working on the door panel. "Someone get there now," shouted. "Any security team, any personnel, anyone." But everyone was too far away. The scout cut through the door mechanism in seconds. The door slid open with a hiss. The Hive scout entered quarters. On's bed's eyes opened. What happened next took 18 seconds. Would watch the security footage hundreds of times in the days to come, and every time it amazed him. The Hive scout's sensors locked onto. It registered her as a life form and began its attack approach, moving low and fast across the floor. Its tail came up, the acid-tipped spike ready to strike. Sat up. Her ears flattened against her head. Her pupils expanded until her eyes were completely black. Her fur stood up, making her appear twice her normal size, and she made a sound that the ship's audio system had trouble recording properly. It was not a hiss. It was not a growl. It was something deeper, older, more primal. It was the sound that prey animals heard in their nightmares. It was the sound that said, "I am a predator and you have entered my territory." The Hive scout paused for half a second, its sensors trying to assess this small creature making such a threatening sound. That pause was a mistake. Launched herself off the bed directly at the scout's face. She moved so fast that the security camera barely caught it. One frame she was on the bed. The next frame she was airborne. The third frame her claws were extended and aimed at the scout's optical sensors. The scout's armor was designed to stop bullets. It was not designed to stop a 4-kilogram missile with 20 razor-sharp claws. Hit the scout's head and immediately began shredding its sensors. Her claws found gaps in the armor plating, weak points around the eyes and joints. She moved with surgical precision, targeting every vulnerable spot with the instinct of millions of years of evolution. The scout thrashed, trying to shake her off. Its tail struck at her but was already moving. She jumped to the scout's back, digging her claws in for grip and bit down on the connection point between the head and body. Her teeth found wires. She pulled. Sparks flew. The scout made a mechanical screaming sound. Was relentless. She used the scout's own momentum against it, staying on its back where the tail could not reach her. When the scout tried to roll, she jumped clear, landed perfectly, and immediately attacked again from a different angle. She went for the legs this time, her claws slashing at the joints. The scout was fast, but was faster. She was a blur of orange fur and furious energy, moving with the kind of focused intensity that came from being a pure predator. The scout's tail managed to clip her once, but the acid only got on her fur. She hissed in anger and went straight for the scout's head again. This time she found the neural core, a small weak point that even the tactical database had not clearly identified. It was protected, but its claws were designed by nature to catch and hold prey. They found a gap. She bit down, pulling at something vital. The hive scout collapsed, stood on its body, breathing hard, her tail lashing. She looked at the dead creature beneath her and made a small chirping sound. Then she sat down on the corpse and began calmly grooming her paw, as if she had not just single-handedly killed one of the galaxy's most dangerous infiltrator units. Watching from the bridge could not speak, his mouth hung open. Whisper, did that just happen? Orr and his warriors arrived 30 seconds later, weapons ready, prepared for battle. They stopped in the doorway and stared at the scene before them. Sat on the dead hive scout, licking her paw and wiping it over her ear. She glanced at the warriors, meowed once and went back to grooming. Or holstered his weapon slowly. He approached the scout's body and ran his scanner over it. The readout confirmed. Neural core destroyed, optical systems shredded, leg joints damaged, armor penetrated in 17 places. All done by a 4-kilogram domestic animal. Arrived a minute later, running at full speed. He burst into his quarters and saw sitting peacefully on his bed. The dead scout lay on the floor. The warriors stood around it like they were viewing a religious artifact. Scooped up his aunt's cat, checking her for injuries. She purred loudly and rubbed her head against his chin. There was a small patch of singed fur where the acid had touched her, but otherwise she seemed fine. Your companion did this, or asked quietly. Looked at the small orange cat in his arms, then at the dead hive scout, then back at Orr. Apparently, yes. Humans, Orr said slowly, what exactly do you consider a pet? Did not have an answer. He just held close, feeling her purr vibrate through his chest, and wondered the same thing. The formal alliance ceremony took place 1 week later aboard Haven's Gate Station. Representatives from Earth and the Apex Fleet gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall, a massive room with transparent walls that looked out onto the stars. Hundreds of dignitaries from both species filled the seats, watching as history was made. Captain stood in his dress uniform next to Admiral, the head of Earth's military forces. On the other side of the stage, Commander Orr stood with the High Council, their armor polished and gleaming. The treaty itself was simple. Earth and the Apex Fleet would coordinate their forces against the hive swarms. They would share intelligence, resources, and military support. Together, they would stand against the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. But everyone in the room knew something had changed. They looked at the humans differently now. There was a new respect in their eyes, mixed with something that might have been wariness. Admiral signed the treaty first, his signature bold and clear. Or approached the table and added his own mark, the traditional claw press that left 4 parallel lines in the special reactive paper. The room erupted in applause, cameras flashed. The official moment was captured for history. But then Orr raised his hand, asking for silence. The room quieted immediately. The commander was not known for making speeches, so everyone wanted to hear what he would say. People of Earth, Orr began, his voice carrying across the hall without amplification. We have a saying. It translates roughly to, show me your scars and I will show you my respect. We believed ourselves to be the greatest warriors in the galaxy. We had earned that title through 300 worlds and countless victories. He paused, his red eyes scanning the crowd. We came to this alliance believing we would teach humans how to fight. We assumed your species was young and inexperienced. We thought you needed our strength. Orr's expression shifted, becoming something almost like a smile. We were wrong. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, glanced at Admiral, who looked equally surprised. We have spent 2 weeks aboard a human vessel, Orr continued. We have observed your crew, we have studied your culture, and we have learned something that shook our understanding of bravery itself. He gestured to a large screen behind him. An image appeared. sitting on its desk, looking directly at the camera with her green eyes. "This is a cat," Or said, "a common domestic animal on Earth. Humans keep millions of them in their homes. They feed them, shelter them, allow them to sleep in their beds." The council members behind him all nodded solemnly. "This creature," Or continued, "has retractable claws designed to tear flesh, night vision superior to military equipment, reflexes faster than most trained soldiers. The hunting success rate of this species is higher than the great predators of your world. And last week, one of these animals single-handedly killed a Hive scout infiltrator." Gasps spread through the Earth delegation. Most of them had not heard the full story, had kept it quiet, thinking it was too strange to report officially. The image on the screen changed to security footage from that night. The audience watched in complete silence as attacked the Hive scout with savage efficiency. 18 seconds of pure predatory violence from a creature that weighed 4 kilograms. When the footage ended, the hall remained silent. "A species that shares living space with such creatures," Or said quietly, "is either insane or fearless beyond measure. We have reconsidered humanity's qualifications for this alliance." He turned to face Admiral directly. "You are not young warriors who need our guidance. You are a species that looked at apex predators and decided to make them family. You are a people who coexist with danger as if it were normal. You have spent thousands of years living beside creatures that could kill you, and you call this companionship." Or placed his clawed hand over his chest in the traditional salute. "We fear no beast," he said. "That has been our motto for generations, but we have learned humility today. If this is what humans consider a pet, we dare not imagine what you consider a threat." Admiral stood and returned the salute. "Commander, we appreciate your words, but I think there may be some misunderstanding. Cats are not weapons, they are companions. Yes, they are predators by nature, but they have chosen to live with us. We did not conquer them. We formed a partnership thousands of years ago." "That makes it even more impressive," Or replied. "You did not dominate these creatures through force. You earned their trust. That requires a different kind of strength." From his seat, Lieutenant Minu grinned and pulled up his data pad. He had been waiting for this moment. With a few quick taps, he sent a file to the main screen. New images appeared. Dogs of every size and breed filled the screen. Massive creatures with thick fur and powerful jaws. Small ones with big eyes. Working dogs, guard dogs, companion dogs. "Commander," Minu called out, unable to help himself. "You should know about dogs too. We domesticated wolves about 15,000 years ago. These are their descendants." The delegation stared at the images of dogs, pulled out his scanner and ran a quick analysis on one of the pictures showing a large wolf-like dog. "These were apex predators," said slowly. "Pack hunters, the top of their food chain." "Still are in a way," Minu said cheerfully. "But they're also our best friends. We call them man's best friend, actually. They live in our homes, play with our children, and protect our families." Or looked at the images for a long moment. Then he turned to his council and spoke in his own language. The translation devices caught only parts of it. "Reassess, strategic implications, bravery or madness." He turned back to the humans. "We formally request detailed briefings on all of Earth's domesticated species, for tactical reasons." Admiral smiled. "We would be happy to provide that information. Though I should warn you, we also have horses, which are prey animals we ride on, and birds that we teach to talk, and fish that we keep in our homes just to watch them swim." The council members exchanged looks of disbelief. Communications officer, who had been sitting quietly until now, raised her hand. "Commander, if I may ask, what animals do keep as companions?" Or was silent for several seconds. "We do not keep animals. We believed it was beneath warriors to need companionship from lesser creatures." "You believed," noted, past tense. "We are reconsidering many beliefs," Or admitted. The ceremony concluded with both sides committing to the alliance. Treaties were signed, hands were shaken, and claws were pressed. But the real story, the one that would spread across the galaxy in the weeks to come, was about the cat. Later that evening, returned to his ship to find Aunt Sara waiting at the docking bay. Her medical conference was over, and she had come to retrieve. "How was she?" Sara asked, reaching for the pet carrier. "Any problems?" Thought about the dead Hive scout, the terrified warriors, the entire diplomatic incident that had somehow made the alliance stronger. "She was perfect," he said, handing over the carrier. Meowed from inside, sounding innocent and sweet. "Very well behaved." "I knew she would be," Sara said happily. "She's such a good girl. Oh, before I forget, I'm adopting a kitten next month. A little black one named. She's very playful. Could you watch her for a week when I visit my sister?" Behind, he heard a thud. He turned to see the warrior who had been passing by in the corridor. The large alien had literally stumbled at Sara's words. "Another one," whispered. "There will be another one." "Is your friend okay?" Sara asked, looking concerned. "He's fine," said. "Just adjusting to human culture." Sara left with, completely unaware that she had just caused a minor panic among the galaxy's most fearless warriors. Approached slowly. "Captain, I must ask, how many of these creatures does Earth have?" Cats thought about it. "Probably 600 million or so, maybe more. We stopped counting decades ago." His eyes widened. 600 million apex predators living among your population. "They're really very friendly once you get to know them," assured him. Was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that would be quoted in military academies for generations. "We declared humans our allies today. After learning this, I believe we made the only logical choice. Better to fight beside humans than against them. A species that commands 600 million predators is not to be opposed." Started to correct him, to explain that humans did not command cats at all, that cats more or less did whatever they wanted. But then he decided some things were better left unsaid. Across the galaxy, the Hive swarms monitored the alliance between Earth and the Apex fleet. Their collective intelligence analyzed the strategic implications. They reviewed the security footage of defeating their scout. Deep in their hive ships, the swarms began recalculating their invasion plans for Earth. They added a new note to their database, flagging humanity as a priority threat species. Not because of human technology or weapons or military strength, but because any species that looked at nature's perfect predators and decided to put bells on them and call them Mr. Whiskers was clearly capable of anything. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. And somewhere on Earth, in millions of homes, cats continued doing what they had always done: sleeping, hunting, knocking things off tables, and proving that sometimes the smallest creatures command the most respect.